And Sana actually is very passionate about virtual legal support and all kind of women support and workplace harassment is her specialist field. So she's going to enlighten us about that. And then we have I'm really honored to have Shanta Maharaj from South Africa, and she's such a lovely lady, and I keep on trying to identify. Should I say salam to her or Sat Sri Akal or Namaste? But I realize, Shanta, I've been studying more and more about humans and about our religions and all, and I realize there is only one religion, is human, humanity, and we are all human, apne individual, even with our individual beliefs, and maybe we are all human. I mean, you can't see a person thirsty with a glass of water, you'll share it. And that is humanity. So, I mean, I've seen it, I've got immense of. So, Alhamdulillah, I'm getting, as time passes, I'm getting more firm on my conviction of humanity has to be reinforced, and all these superficial factors of diversity, creating diverse uh, people. Uh, Basically, they're driven by uh, they're driven by vested interest group. They have some vested interest in creating these diversities and benefit from the good old days of divide and rule. So let's not get into that. That's not the topic. Topic today is diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So we've got Sana, we've got Shanta, and we've got this brilliant young corporate. I'm really proud of her. Where is she? So there, you move corners. Abira, it's a great. If any one of you are in Lahore, you would love to meet this girl. She is a corporate consultant, and sorry, I am expecting from her a lot of value added from the corporate perspective on DEI. With DEI, there is a legal side of it, regulatory side of it, implementation side of it, and of course, the social human side, and lastly, the corporate side of it. So we'll very quickly try and go through this, and then inshallah we will discuss, and then we will within the group, and we will also like to take some key learning from here. So may I invite Sana Pirzada? Sana, could you kick the ball rolling, as they say, on your favorite subject, harassment at workplace?
Thank you so much for this, Zafar Saab. I'd like to tell everybody that I've been associated with Zafar Saab for over a decade now. And he and Excelerate have been a very integral part of my life. And he is a mentor, he is a father figure, he has done a lot for me. So I owe a lot to him and to Team Accelerate. So, sir, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor for me.
My pleasure and
Um,
my
Thank you, sir. So in order to make this more entertaining for the audience, I've actually prepared a brief PowerPoint. Is it okay to just share that so that I can explain my points more vividly?
with pleasure, ma'am. Let me give you the right share. Uh, Mohit, can you share it?
Yes, Sarag, you can now share it.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm sorry. यार वो मैंने खाई नहीं किधर गई
So
जबरदस्त
as soon as you can see this, just let me know so that I can take it off. Is this visible to everybody?
या very much.
Okay. So basically, as Zafar Saab explained, I for certain reasons, my area of specialization over the last couple of years has become um, so enlightening people on the relevant sexual harassment laws and how organizations can tackle, this particular problem. So I'm going to just begin, with talking generally about DEI, that it is extremely important in organizations. And it's more so because nowadays we see a lot more women coming into workplaces in Pakistan, for example, in comparison with previous years. You also have people from different ethnic backgrounds, religious minorities, and of course, when we look at the Western world, you have, LGBT minorities as well. And because of all of these differences in faith, in color, in gender, this is why DIE is a very critical role in organizations. And if you don't have a strong DIE policy, everything just falls apart like a house of cards. Okay, I'm going to move on. The impact of sexual harassment on DIE is absolutely devastating. And I'm just going to break this down in more detail. So, I spoke about diversity at the very outset. And when sexual harassment takes place in an organization, and everybody knows that sexual harassment has many different components, it is not necessarily just something that's physical. It could be emotional, it could be verbal, it could be creating a hostile work environment, it could be discrimination, it could be abuse of authority. We've seen that in some of the landmark judgments in Pakistan in the last couple of years and worldwide as well. So the first thing is that if you have a culture, a toxic culture which breeds harassment, it erodes diversity. Women would want to leave that organization. If the target of that harassment is somebody or a group of people who belong to a particular faith, they would want to move on. So it erodes that level of diversity which should exist in any given organization. It destroys equity as well in terms of your career advancement, your fair opportunities. It doesn't allow people to progress, and we've seen that many a times, especially in Pakistan. And I will speak specifically in this context that many women in previous years who were victims of sexual harassment could not speak because of social stigmas and because of fear of repercussions, and they ended up leaving their organizations. They ended up leaving the corporate world in general. So it destroys those opportunities that any educated or professional person has. It undermines inclusion. When you're working for an organization, everybody wants to feel included. They want to feel safe. They want to feel valued and respected, especially women, especially people from minorities. And of course, if you're working in an environment with sexual harassment, it diminishes that. So, according to the UN Women Report of 2022, 56% of women in Pakistan have reported experiencing some form of workplace harassment, which of course indicates that this issue is extremely prevalent. And despite the laws that I'm just going to look at in a moment, there are still many different challenges that organizations need to confront. The Australian Human Rights Commission found that 1 in 3 employees who reported harassment faced negative career impacts. And in Pakistan, women who have reported being sidelined or discouraged from leadership tracks after they have filed complaints. So we have seen some recent cases in Pakistan as well, and I'm not going to go into the details of those landmark judgments, such as the episode at IBA or K Electric or other judgments that have been passed by FOSPA, the federal ombudsperson. And whereas we have seen that there has been progress, women are coming forward, they're speaking more about this, and people are being held accountable, renowned organizations are being held accountable. Even then, it does negatively impact women's careers because they cannot, and sometimes they're not in a position to move forward because of the stigma attached to them. I did this wonderful course on Coursera very recently, and for those who may have limited knowledge on understanding sexual harassment, I would urge you to actually take this course. Um, it's conducted by Catherine Mattis, who is a leading HR person, and she has written many books on toxic work cultures and on sexual harassment. And I personally found that course to be very enlightening. And she talks about the fact that when you talk about workplace harassment, you're basically looking at a segment of a toxic work culture. That's how sexual harassment is born, basically. And if you ignore those harassment signals, and there's tolerance for misconduct. And if you're normalizing disrespect, again, that kind of desecrates this whole policy of DIE initiatives that have become so important. So my advice is for everybody to look at that course as well, because it is a great learning experience. I'm just going to quickly go through the relevant laws because these are very important. Many people who are working in organizations even today are unaware of their legal recourse. They're unaware of their rights. The 2010 Act specifically highlights the fact that whether you're a man or a woman, you can be a complainant of sexual harassment. Every organization has to have an anti-harassment policy that has to be visible to the employees. Um, and if anything goes wrong, and if you're not happy with the decision of the inquiry committee, you then move forward to the federal ombudsperson or the provincial ombudsperson in our case. It also defines the different types of harassments, which I highlighted at the very outset, that it could be physical, it could be verbal, it could even be something like leering. So the definitions are also present over there.
Wow. How did that
Well,
happen?
I never knew you could do that. Move forward. The next important law is PICA, which is the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act of 2016. And another reason why this statute is very important is because it highlights cyber stalking and online harassment as crimes. And if you are a victim of that, because post-COVID, we saw a lot of harassment moving from the physical to the virtual world. Of course, the FIA is the leading institution to file your complaint with. And again, there are quite huge legal repercussions for that. Any person who is found guilty can be imprisoned. The 2022 Act is even more important because what it does is that so when we look at sexual harassment, most people ask me, is it only sexual harassment? And the answer to that question is no. It used to be just sexual harassment, but as per certain landmark decisions by the Supreme Court of Pakistan and the 2022 Amendment Act, the definition now includes abuse of power, discrimination, and hostile work environment, which technically means that I, as a woman, if I have a position of authority, I could be harassing another woman as well. And that could be a hostile workplace environment. It could be a man targeting another man. So it does not necessarily have to have the sexual component. So my recommendations, and of course the HR experts over here can, definitely build on this. That if you have a strong management, if you have that leadership commitment, because that is essentially where it starts from, and if they are good role models, the entire organization will follow in their footsteps. But the problem lies in that management itself, and sometimes you've got people. Usually, you have people in positions of authority who are not willing to change, who are in fact the ones who are the perpetrators. They create this culture of a toxic work environment, of misogyny, of patriarchy, and that is something that needs to stop if you have to have a strong DEI policy in your organization. The policy and reporting structures also have to be transparent, and people need to know about those. Again, many people have approached me and they've said that it's pointless for us to approach our HR department. They don't help us. We don't have an inquiry committee. We're not aware of the anti-harassment policy. So every organization needs to make this clear. I can say for a fact that even though there are many organizations in Pakistan who take the anti-harassment laws seriously, especially the banking sector, there are still some who are very reluctant to share the details of the laws and the procedures of reporting harassment to their employees, thinking that some sort of a rebellion will take place. Well, the point is that if you don't tackle harassment at that particular stage ab initio at the very start, it builds up, and when it snowballs and it goes out of control, it will harm your reputation in the worst possible form. So please don't, uh, reduce people to silence at the start. Um, Finally, and I love this point, uh, and I encourage everybody, in fact, to participate in what's called the bystander intervention. You've got a passive bystander, you see something happening and you just walk away, and then you've got an active bystander who sees something happening and they try to intervene in that scenario to disrupt that harassment. And there are 5 Ds of this: distract, delegate, document, delay, direct. And I'm just going to very quickly take you through those. If you see a situation in an organization, in your office, where a man, say, is bending over a woman and he's saying something inappropriate to her, and she seems to be very uncomfortable, try to distract the situation. Just walk towards the woman and say, Amna, didn't we have to go to another meeting? Or Ali, could you just tell me the time? What that does is it disrupts the situation and it diffuses the situation so that the victim or the person who is being targeted gets an opportunity to walk away. So that is the first D. The second is delegate. If you feel that you're not in a position to intervene, maybe you fear your own safety, maybe you don't feel confident enough, you can delegate it to somebody who is in a position of authority. So if you were working with Zafar Sab, for example, you would delegate it to him and say, sir, this is something that I'm seeing on a daily basis, and I think that you should intervene. Documenting has become something that people do all the time in the world now. They take pictures and videos and they post them online. And it's great to document some sort of a tragedy or a misfortune that is taking place. But please do remember, in cases of sexual harassment, before posting something or sharing something, please ask the victim if they're comfortable in doing so, because sometimes it might actually harm the victim even more than the episode itself. Delaying is another tactic where you see something happen, you don't feel comfortable talking to the victim there and then, and you approach them later and ask them if you can offer them any kind of assistance, if they need any psychological help, and you can take it from there. And the last, which should have been the first, is basically direct confrontation, where you feel powerful enough to intervene and just say, shut up to the person who is committing the harassment. But again, you have to see whether it suits whether it's safe enough for you to do so. And lastly, I'm just going to say that uh, every organization, every management needs to take sexual harassment very importantly, because that ties in very well with your DEI initiatives, where we have more women now than ever before. We have people from religious minorities, we have people from different racial backgrounds, and so on and so forth. We have differently abled people. We have people coming with different mental illnesses as well, and you have to take all of this into account. And that is what we can offer. So I will stop there because I know other people have to talk as well.
Thank you so much, Sana. Very, very deep and enlightening points, thought-provoking points, and I think one would like to take it further with the input from other experts here. Shantaji, what's your take on overall subject and the input given by? I mean, I have my comments, by the way, and it may not resonate with Sana's own views because for two reasons. I am myself from the other part of the uh, diversity group. The other thing is my observations are based more on real life historical experiences
Mhm.
that not only I have seen in my own life, but before that, some of these things are historical, and why they have been happening. Why has there been an element of exploitation, and is it a new thing or is it something that is part of a human existence? And how has the history tackled with it? How well? So let's not, I'm not going to give you my thoughts on that, but I do say that what Sana is saying is very valid, very focused, but there are limitations here. Limitations of, and it's very common, it's very common that if something happens, even parents come and say, okay, jane do, don't let it, don't let it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't let it out. It'll
Mm.
make damage you more than benefit
Yep.
you. I know there is society, and we have seen in Pakistan, and also I'm sure other places, limitations of. I mean, it's one thing to have a beautiful law, the other thing is implementation. Limitations of implementation and the success factor, we have to fight for it, and we should fight for it as Sana is doing. Uh, but in reality, uh, country like ours, which is impacted by colonial legacy to feudal legacy, I mean, आज भी I'm shocked if somebody skilled, very easily people get out of the charge either on compromise or lack of evidence. So let's stop it there. So it's a very, very complex issue. It's a real issue. It needs to be tackled. But does it have to be a confrontational approach, or more of what Sana was saying, cultural change? And cultural change is something that requires a much broader based intervention. So, Shanta, yours.
So now, before I carry on, thank you, Zafar sir. You spoke about men harassing women. I had actual experience as an HR manager of women harassing men. And what disappointed me is that when I took it up, when it reached the CCMA level, etc., they couldn't see the wrong that I could see. And this youngster, the young guy, left work. When I took it up to the director told me straight, I was second in charge of that company then. He said, as long as my salespeople bring in the money and we get the good salaries at the end of the month, let it be. Typical Jane Do attitude. And I've seen that it has irked me so much, but there's very little we can do about it unless the people at the top say yes, take action. Now, in South Africa, yes, we do have DEI, but we have a B attached to it, which is belonging. There can be diversity, equity, all that kind of thing. But if there's no belonging to the system, you're still an alien, and you'll never be taken seriously. So our democracy is fairly new, 31 years. The easiest way for me to remember our democracy is my son was born when our democracy started. So for me, I just remember my son's birthday, and that's it for me. I know the number of years we've been there. And we come from a background of apartheid. Now, the apartheid that is being thrown around now, with all that's happening over the world, it is nothing compared to what we went through. And as a female, I am faced with a double edged sword. Firstly, my hormones are not the right ones because I have estrogen, so I can't do what a man who's got testosterone can do. I'm viewed that way. And secondly, I'm a woman of color. So the fight is really serious. And if we don't stand up, fortunately, I must say, South Africans are not passive people, very far from passive. We're very emotional in what we do. We're slightly rough on the edges, and it helps when it comes to getting some form of equality. The other thing we look at here, and I say this with all due respect because not all countries are accepting it, is the LGBTQ, right? So in South Africa, it's accepted, but being a democracy, certain cultures don't accept it. So we don't push it. If you belong to that culture or that religion and it's not allowed, we're not going to push it. We respect that and we step aside, which I think is the right thing to do. Because a few years ago, when I was on a radio show, I was on the board of that radio station, and we had a gay guy being interviewed. Thank God I walked outside before they left the interview. And there were guys waiting to kill him. They said he spoke it was a Zulu. We do not have our Zulu men speak about that. And I had to quietly get the police, get these guys out, and then release this guy from the studio. So it's all over, right? We're facing the LGBTQ. And then, of course, race. Race is another pathetic issue. It's still existing in South Africa, that's for sure. We now have a reverse apartheid, where before it was, the minority of whites dominating the black. Now it's the black and those who don't want to have peace and quiet trying to topple the apple cart. So we're going through that as well. And then, of course, it's gender. And we talk about, I don't like using the word handicap or disabilities, but differently able people. Now, what impressed me, I conducted a training course a few weeks ago, and it was according to Sector Education and Training Authority. And I looked at it, and one of the things that they is on a checklist when you're having training, are you catering for the differently abled people? And if you're not, then you have not done your checklist properly, right? So those are the kinds of things. Now let's look at what can be done. I've got a list here, very, very quick one. We need to commit to meaningful change. It's not just about compliance. To me, compliance is a window dresser. Oh, I've seen it so often. It's just makeup on a very ugly face. That's all it is. We need to invest in skills development. Now, that's become my crazy passion in the last year. I think because, I'm heading towards PhD level, I'm sort of like going into all these things with skills development. And I'm looking at skills. The first skill we need to teach people is tolerance in the workplace. And then I take tolerance and I look at it as an abusive term. Because if it's tolerance, breaking it down into English, and we have an author with us, so I'm going to be very careful how I break the word down. You tolerate things that are not good. So I say, instead of tolerance, let's respect. We don't have to accept it, but we can respect it. Agree to disagree, right?
Yeah.
Champion disability inclusion. I don't like the word disability. I look differently able. That's what we need to do. The fourth one is very important for me, and this is where we are lacking in every country that I've heard about. We don't have safe places for dialogue. That is it. We just don't create the safety for people. We might do it as, again, makeup on an ugly face. That's we're all very good at doing that, but actually creating that safe space. And then after we do all this, how do we measure what we did? Is there a follow-up? That is of concern to me. Don't just do it and yes, I did it and I tick the boxes and the Department of Labor is happy, the legal people are happy. No. What follow up? So those are the things that bother me with diversity. And most important to me is agree to disagree. Be culturally sensitive, respect other cultures. You don't have to accept it, and agree to disagree. And don't push your agenda onto anybody, because some people might not accept it, some will. So that's how I look at the DEIB. And you find if you do the DEI properly and everybody's happy, the belonging just comes in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's
It's like,
my 2 cents worth on it.
it's so much very valuable 2 cents actually. I don't know how to convert it into what is the most popular currency these days? Cryptocurrency or
Dollar.
something. No, it's really good. You know what you said, Janta, is something very simple, basic, but something quite doable, and something to do that. What requires is a struggle, and a struggle. I think the main challenge in any change is the struggle to be able to conquer your self-esteem, because the real challenge is at the self-esteem. Why? I don't want to do it because I think this is right, because I'm the boss, because I am the senior, I have the authority, I have the money, and how come people will look at me differently? Because so I don't change. I feel comfortable staying in my status quo. That's very interesting. But I now look forward to being enlightened by this pretty young girl. Uh, where did she go? There she is. She
Here
keeps
I
on.
am.
Yeah. Abira. Abira is, again, for those who did not hear about her when she was here, she's a she's a senior management team member at the Ernst& Young, Lahore, and she's catering to corporate culture and change and advisory in many big companies. And I wish all of those companies the best of luck. But more than that, I want her to get the hell out of wherever she is and broaden her scope. South Africa, Shanta will welcome you, and you can make a real difference in South Africa. Ji
Of
Abhi.
course, of course.
Go
Thank
right.
you. It was wonderful listening to my co-panelists, Sana and Shanta. And thank you, Zafar Saab, for giving me this opportunity to represent myself on this prestigious forum. So, I have like 15 years of work experience, and it's been 5 years since I am associated with EY. I have worked with local firms as well as multinationals, and I have seen this shift, this growing interest in DE and I of the organizations, the cultural shift. And I would second thoughts shared by Shanta that it's about the mindset basically. It's you cannot just rely on the policy. We have fancy policies in place, but unless the leadership commitment, as Sana suggested, is there, and unless the mindset is there, the right mindset, we cannot promote DE and I. So when we talk about in context of DE and I importance and how do we see it at EY, I'll share a few examples, the real life examples which EY has set for us. So we have set the targets, but not to just tick the boxes. It is just for us to make sure and recheck our own biases. So whenever we are hiring, whenever we are promoting people, whenever we are making decision about performances, we need to challenge our own assumptions, and we have to go through certain trainings on year basis. We not only being in HR, I'm the lead HR enablement for two legal entities of EY in Pakistan. So being the lead, I not only run those trainings, I myself attend those trainings from the globals, from sitting people sitting across different zones, and I learn a lot from them. So previous to joining EY, I had a different perspective, a different lens of looking at the world. But now, after working with people belonging to different regions, different religions, different sect, different gender, I get to know a different sort of learning experience. And we have a golden rule earlier that treat people as you would like to be treated. But at EY, we promote it as we have come up with a platinum rule, and I'm sure many of you have heard about it already, that don't treat others the way you like to be treated. Treat them the way they want to be treated. Because not everyone like you whatever you like is not necessarily to be liked by the other person as well. So think about their own preferences and treat them the way they want to be treated.
Very
So
true.
this is what we try to practice at EY, and we have set many different forums, employee well-being forum, employee assistance program, where employee can free of cost seek psychological help, psychiatrist help. They can go to the therapist. They can share their challenges, and full free of cost support is provided to the employees just to make sure that they are being taken care. So these are a few examples which EY has set, and EY Pakistan is a proud contributor of DE&I agenda. We work with a coalition, an Australian-based coalition named Champions of Change in Pakistan, where we run pro bono trainings for multiple member firms in Pakistan, for example, Nestle, Pepsi, Tetra, and many others local prestigious firms, where we run pro bono trainings just for the sake of betterment of the community, just for the sake of creating awareness about how important it is to have diverse perspectives in the team. And these trainings are really paying us off. We can see the ambassadors, we can see the trainers who go back and who promote this concept back in the firms. So, sexual harassment, Sana has touched upon a very sensitive topic. So, sexual harassment is not necessarily the sexual one, as she has mentioned. It could be anything which makes you uncomfortable. And we, as a witness, as a supporter, we can play our part by following, the 5D model. It is a beautiful model. I have seen it before, and whenever I come across this, it reminds me of the beauty of DE&I and its principles. So yeah, this is what
What
I
is
have learned so far.
Abira? What is the model's name? You say which model?
5D, 5D.
Five
Sana was,
5D
yeah.
5D.
Exactly. Sana was talking about this. So we were talking about this the other day in the forum. So whenever, how it doesn't matter how many forums we are part of, how many trainings we are running, unless it comes from the top, nobody can truly, experience the benefits or, enjoy the players of DE&I. So, if the leadership is committed and if they have zero tolerance policy against any breach of, D&I concepts, it really translates into your day-to-day action. So, for example, we don't even allow anyone, be it a partner or be it a janitor, to talk in inappropriate tone, to use inappropriate words. Our strategy is all in. So, our strategy name is all in, where everybody is welcomed to share their part, to be themselves, and to participate to this contribute and inclusive agenda. So I feel, blessed to be part of this organization because here I can express, I can be myself, I can learn from others, and I can, learn from the different perspectives from the gurus like yourself sitting across the other side of the country. So yeah, this is what I am doing at EY, and this is what I think about DE&I. Thank you.
It's amazing. Thank you. I mean, I'm still uh, stuck in the paradigm shift in thoughts that you have implanted. They don't treat others like you would like to treat yourself, but treat others like they would like to be treated. Now
Of
that puts
course.
me in a situation where I have to start thinking, how would they like to be treated? Which we never do
Sure.
that. We
Yeah.
never do that. How would they like to be treated? And that is where I think key to success, key to happiness is. अब क्या पता who likes to be treated how, and puts you into a situation to find it out. So you need to talk and you need to think about it. Very good. Thank you, ma'am. And I think again you enlightened that. मैं चाह रहा था sorry. Yeah. Miss Ansari, I'm just trying to uh, gather your mental involvement and thought process that's going on during the discussion, and I'm sure you can guide us with some of your key observations.
Sure. Well, in my 18 years of career, where I spent these 18 years with multiple organizations as well, and after that, I started my consultancy um, and doing a certification in NLP. All these three panelists, what they are talking about is mindset. That's the root cause. It's all about understanding yourself and understanding the other person, which Abira has mentioned and which Sana has mentioned. In one of, I would like to share this instance. I was part of one of the discussions um, in a group, and there was this query raised by a girl that I was sexually harassed and I don't know where to report it and everything. And this was a second organization where it had happened with her. And yes, if we just bring it everything down, it all comes down to human being, whether a man or a female, doesn't matter. But when this happened, there was another person, and he started guiding her about the process of going through how to report it, how to escalate it to the government level as well, where we have ombudsman. But my question was, is she going to do the same thing in each and every organization? This was her second. What will happen in third? What will happen in the fourth? What will happen in the fifth? Does she have to go through the same thing? Aren't we going to empower her? Are we going to empower him? Aren't we going to empower our minds? That's my question is that how exactly can we shift our mindsets as the leadership in the organization that every human being working for that particular corporate should respect, understand the other individual at a level of a human being. हम सब अलग हैं, हमारे फिंगरप्रिंट्स अलग है, हमारा माइंडसेट अलग है. The way I'm looking at Sana, she's different to me. Maybe the way Abira is looking at Sana, she is different to her. And Zafar साहब जो आपने शुरू में बात की थी that all of us are human beings first, yes. अल्लाह ताला ने सबसे पहले हमें इंसान बनाया था, religion was second. We have to respect each other as human beings first. So it's time to shift our mindsets first. तो मेरा यही होता है when I go to organizations and have meetings with other people, कि being the mindset and performance coach, I want to create this awareness among people that you need to shift your mindset first. Look at the other person as a human being. जैसे अभी ने अभी mention किया कि यार treat the other person the way they want to be treated. That's respect and understanding. It's a gift that you can give to another human being. So yeah, for me, DENI is just understanding or just accepting the other person as a human being first, the way you are. That is it.
That's great. Marine, one thing, and in fact, maybe Shanta can enlighten with her experience. Uh, what is this mindset? Of course, we try and attempt. Mindset is, is by itself a very, deep thinking, deep involving exercise. But the question is why people don't change their mindset? What holds them back to the mindset that they have been, and they just don't want to change the mindset. I have been working. I'll tell you why I'm saying, Marion. I don't know if you're aware of my background. My major part of my professional career has been spent on changing, trying to make an impact and changing organization. It started off. I started as a civil service officer, then moved to Exxon, then blah 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 blah. But I was in FBR, trying to transform it as a member. I was at Habib Bank, trying to transform the whole organization culture from public to private sector. Fascinating experience in various dimensions of change. I was at Karachi Electric as the chief operating officer with the branch, and again trying to change the organization. So there are complex, multiple factors uh, that hold you back. आपको चेंज करने पे रोक देते रेजिस्टेंट एंड क्रक्स में जो what I have been able to so far synthesize some of the points. One is we are all insecure. We are living in a fear,
That's it.
constant
Fear.
constant fear that
Fear.
if we change what would happen.
That's
So
it.
अगर ये हो गया तो क्या होगा? तो my wicket is gone, my takht is hilifying these new kids. And now let me introduce that fascinating uh, thing that is bothering me a lot. And I have started working. And any one of you who would like to join hands with me is managing the Gen Z. I mean, they're there. You're the Gen Z?
I'm not
Wow.
Gen Z, but I
Oh,
can join hands with you
oh,
because they are also people for me.
no,
They
I
have a
love
different
it.
mindset.
I
They're
love it.
evolving, I would say.
वो I mean, एक चीज देखें आप लोग, and it's really intriguing, Sana. They are emerging globally as another class of human being over and above their religion, over and above their political, beliefs, etc., etc. They are emerging as a revolutionary mindset, irrespective of their political affiliations, etc., etc. They changed Colombo, Sri Lanka. They changed Bangladesh. They're changing Nepal. And I hope and pray someday some of the Gen Z, Abira, you are a Gen Z girl, right? So go and do it. Just go and
I'm a Gen Z as well.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Amra. I'm saying then please join me. I need people, I need team of people who with some passion and desire to make a difference. These kids are there. They are fully energized. All they need is a little bit of insight, little bit of support. And I'm going to tell you, honest to God, this is beyond my professional career ambitions, financial ambitions and all. If I can do a little bit, that can engage them and give them the support and motivation. So I'll be very happy that I have made some humble contribution to our country or our people. But honest to God, ये Gen Z जो है ना, हमारा problem, Shanta, in my view, is that we try to hold on to our thoughts. We are the wisest. In our days, it used to be like this. In our days, ये होता था, हमारे ज़माने में जब रिश्ता लेके जाते थे तो लड़की से कहते थे कि ये रिश्ता आ गया,
Because that's Zamana.
would you accept it? We don't ask for you. They here's the रिश्ता for you. So इस तारीख को we are planning. और वो बेचारी को बैठा के, and then a person, Qazi, will come and he'll say, आपको कबूल है. Well, she's not even trying to say anything. Auntie behind that will take took. And she, oh, yes, 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 ये कर दिया है, कबूल हो गया. So, I mean, that is the culture we're coming from. Try doing that to one of these Gen Z, आजकल के ज़माने. I'm saying irrespective of the social strata, culture, which segment do you belong. So it's a fascinating learning. What we have to learn actually is that Gen Z is not going to change. We have to change.
We have to change.
We have
That's
to.
it. Now, where I fit in with that, I did my grade 12 during 1976. If you tell anyone in South Africa you're from class of 76, they know you revolutionary. Were part of this whole thing about bringing Mandela back. And that we were like, how people are scared of the Gen Zs now? They were scared of the class of 76 then. Like these guys are going to topple things. You don't, we've grown up, and I find that those of us from that era, we have such a lovely relationship with our children who are Gen Zs because we understand it. You doing what we did then, you're just doing it differently. And I find that when you understand them, they are so much better. This thing with the Gen Zs as well, living together. I almost died 5 years ago when my son and his girlfriend said they're going to live together. And then they sat me down and they said, would you like us to get married and then divorced? Because we don't know each other well enough to get married. We're working at the same hospital. We're in the same city.
Well
We're going to
enough.
save money by living together. And I thought, okay, that's
I
one
tell you
year.
honestly, it's a different mindset. It's a different world.
Different. 5
Amazing.
years down the line, they've moved closer to me now. They're living together so beautifully. I said to them, when you are ready, tell me about your marriage. And her parents have said the same thing. When
Adit,
you are,
Adit,
they're not doing any harm when they are ready. So we have to change. It's
no,
us.
I know of a French uh, a consultant and a very good friend of mine in Dubai, and they lived happily with wife, no, not wife, with the girl and the children. Children are growing up. One day he says, you know what, Zafar, we trying to ceremonize and get married. I said, ooh, whom are you marrying? He said, my wife. This my girlfriend. I said, wow, you've got 10 years and 11 years and kids and all. He said, yeah, but now I think we should marry. Very
Now
good.
we can tolerate each other in a legal partnership. That's what
Yeah.
I was told.
You are younger than me, Chanta, but this is a big bullshit crap. कि अभी now we can tolerate. How long will you be able to have that state of mind? Nobody knows. So 3 months from now, you say, now I don't feel like so. galmuk gayi na. So, Acha, I have got this professor here, not actually professor, but a professor to be Muhammad Kamran, PhD scholar. Sir, are you there? Kamran sir? Hello? And I've got this another brilliant, my Gen Z team. You know,
Yes,
I'm
sir,
trying.
I am there. I just heard you.
Oh, very good. Would you like to give your 2 cents on the thought?
Well, I have been listening to it in bits and pieces, and I was really very heartening to know such a subject is being discussed, which usually it was not listened or talked in such a way. And definitely, it is the need of the hour today. And a lot of work has been done on it. When
Good.
it started 4 or 5 years back, people used to hesitate to talk on this subject.
Right.
And now, Alhamdulillah, the diversity has come to such an extent that now 50-50 ratio is there in every organization.
Kamran,
Wherever you go,
where are you from?
I am from Rawalpindi. I am doing PhD from BZU Multan, and I met you once. You came for a professional lecture and a workshop in BZU.
Oh, in
So,
BZU.
BZU, sir. It was
Oh.
last year. You had a workshop
Keep in
on how
contact
to.
with me, Kamran.
Sure, sir.
Because I love doing these talks and, enjoy holding these interactions. So, inshallah, look forward to see you. I was going to tell you that I've got a uh, very
Sir,
nice little girl here, Tuba, and I have selected to be one of the members of the Gen Z team. I'm trying to formulate the revolutionary team. And,
sir.
you're going to, with your thing and Amna, your support, I feel double stronger today. So, Tuba, Assalamu alaikum.
Morning, Shyam sir. How are you?
मैं तो ठीक हूँ. How are you? Very quiet.
I'm doing good, sir.
We have had some fascinating discussions here. I don't know how much of it you heard. Dr.
Sir, I just joined actually due to connectivity issue because I'm currently on my way. Hello.
Okay, we're talking now about the Gen Z initiative and creating a team for Gen Z. And I'm lucky to have here Mehreen Ansari, mashallah, a well accomplished professional who tells me that she has the passion. And I also have Amna Ashraf here. They are very excited on my thought process. So I just wanted to tell you we will get connected, and someday we are going to have a nice breakfast, maybe at my house or somewhere, and see if we can take it further and add our values in that. Is that all right, Tuba? Okay, mic is off.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sonia, Assalamu alaikum. Sonia Naresh.
Welcome, sir. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah, very clearly. I'm sorry, I should have involved you in discussion earlier.
No problem at all, sir.
Sonia has been my student in the diploma, HR diploma. She is a brilliant lady. She is from a diversity perspective, a very conscious and enlightened person. She comes from Hindu community, and I'm sure uh, whatever diversity challenges the community faces, उसके shadows उनको भी मिलते होंगे. So some point in time, Sonia, would you like to throw some light?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as sir mentioned, Zafar sir, thank you very much for letting me speak on this very sensitive topic. So, just for the start, मैं पाकिस्तान से हूँ and I'm a minority. So over the years, well, we all know, जहाँ पे minorities होती हैं, regardless of which part of the world you are in, they're always a sort of uh, uh, resistance to our acceptance. सो नो मैटर हाउ जितना भी हम आगे बढ़ जाएं डाइवर्सिफाई हो जाएं या कुछ भी कर लें सो देयर इज ऑलवेज रूम कि हम उस लेवल तक नहीं पहुंच पाते जहाँ पे वी नीड दैट फाइनल यू नो दैट सेटिस्फैक्शन कि जी अब हम कंप्लीटली एक बहुत अच्छा DEI की तरफ जा चुके हैं over the years things have been very difficult to absorb because there's been lack of tolerance in every form whether it's religious or political or official, it's just there. So you can't deny the fact that it's there. But अब हम इस पे बात कर रहे हैं तो हमें अवेयरनेस ज्यादा बढ़ रही है अवेयरनेस बढ़ने का मकसद ये नहीं है कि हम उसको कम्प्लीटली अब्जॉर्ब कर रहे हैं या हम उसकी पॉजिटिविटी की तरफ या उसको एलिमिनेट करने की तरफ जा रहे हैं there are very various ways that people get harassed in many ways so we just need to understand कि हमारे पास क्या 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 तरीके हैं what are the ways so we can get out of it so first of all तो we need to understand कि भाई acceptance क्या है and then accessibility of all the material, all the help that we have is also a very integral part of DEI. So the organization that I work with, they have a very different and diverse way of absorbing DEI. So they have DEINA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Unless and until आपके पास इन सारी चीज़ों की access नहीं होगी, there is absolutely no way that you'll be able to absorb or to kind of know that all of this is there. तो मेरे लिए ये सारी चीज़ें मिल के बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर बनाती हैं, and we are still moving in that phase of learning and learning from our experiences, learning from others' experiences, and also learning from the mistakes that we have. It's still at a very beginning stage, sir. That's what I have to say.
There's a comment in the chat box. I'm not sure if everyone's looked at it. Mr. Fahad has put it's I think it's a very interesting comment. Very, very interesting. Because they are excluded.
I'd just like to comment on that. Actually, I just read that comment. When you talk about the LGBT communities in the Western world, I mean, obviously that is something that's acceptable and people talk about it, and there are rights. I mean, they have rights. But in a country like Pakistan, obviously it's difficult, to talk about that. I mean, we do have laws pertaining to transgenders, and they are now included in the workforce and in other aspects of life as well. But despite that, everything is so hush hush that you don't, I mean, we can't openly, and obviously Avira and the other experts over here can correct me if I'm wrong, whether we can openly have LGBT policies or not. But at the end of the day, because this is an Islamic country, it's very difficult to openly even talk about these things, let alone have policies, governing these people. So I think that was a valid point, and I think it's just food for thought for us.
The issue ये है कि when we talk about the things like LBGT, ये एक again, it's not a new phenomena. Number one. Number two, as we have studied and we are trying to understand it, there is a variation to it. One is the naturally genetic, variation, as Shanta says, differently uh, differently capable people born. And there was a beautiful movie I saw. Shanta, if you have not seen it, please watch it. It was a movie called, can somebody help me recall? Beautiful name, created by this was Mahira Khan bhi thi isme, and there was a guy,
Bold.
I think.
there was a Hakim Saab who had a lot of girls. Is it, recall it? It's a
बोल
beautiful.
उस्मानी साहब आई थिंक
जी
बोल था उसका नाम
Bol.
हाँ
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I can research and share it with you. But honestly, it was such a fascinating movie. The many Indian producers, the top names, said, "I wish we could produce a movie like that." It was on this particular subject, LBGT पे. और इतनी अच्छी बनी हुई मूवी थी वो. It was about this person, Hakim Saab, who was blessed with a lot of girls, and then he got a boy who was naturally different. So वो बड़ा मैं तो हैरान रह गया because it raised the issue that society has to face. Learn, I mean, God forbid if anybody has gone into it, and then uh, ये हो गया ठीक, but how to deal with it. So the classical, Marine, I was surprised. What is the classical societal response to this? Are these जो सिंगर्स नहीं होते रोड पे, क्या कहते हैं इनको, तो ठीक है, जो सड़कों पे भीख मांग रहे होते हैं, all that class. So that class is created as a result of such kids, and they come to the house, and they come in when they find out कि यहाँ पे there is a baby born and undefined sex, so they come and they say कि give it to us now, and we just very quietly take it, and this family resisted, we will, and it's an eye opener how she managed but उसका जो की लेसन था, जो मेरी समझ में आया, कि हमारी सोसाइटी में टॉलरेंस ऑफ accepting this as a reality, as a normal reality. So there was this, I was on the VipCon, Sana, I don't know whether you were in there or not. There was VipCon में, there was this girl who came, literally brought tears to my eyes, and she had been blessed with a girl who was, undefined. And the whole thing was, it's a beautiful उसकी click मैंने capture की है, कि वो, she was different school में, she was treated differently, इधर उधर, all खुदा के लिए, it was not both. Sorry, Abina, the name of the movie was खुदा के लिए. Go and Google it and find it and watch it if you have time today. तो वो ना, उसको टॉलरेंस हमारी सोसाइटी में तो इसका है ही नहीं. And that is the problem. So this girl who came real life में, she was blessed with this, and she went through this dilemma. स्कूल में बच्चों ने उसको तंग किया, ये क्या वो क्या. But then she said, and she came to the participants हमारे conference में, she said, I looked at it and I asked myself how to deal with it. And we say, I realized, I can't abandon her. I can't, obviously she's part of my flesh and body. She said, I talked to my daughter, you're different, but you have to be brave. And then she said, we both decided that we will take it together as a reality. And we live in this world like that. So the key issue जो उसमें आ रहा था कि लोग क्या कहेंगे. The question was,
Always.
when she was narrating it, literally, Shanta, I had tears in my eyes. The लोग क्या कहेंगे? How do you mean deal with people? Once you know
You
that
know,
you don't care about the people, you care about yourself. And
absolutely.
sorry, go ahead.
Zafar Saab, I've had so many gay friends, gay males. I felt absolutely safe with them. If I needed company, they are the best. They look after you like nobody else will look after
There are
you.
two things.
And you are safe as a woman with them. Absolutely safe.
Have you
You
been to
know,
Turkey? Have you been to Turkey?
yes, I have.
You have seen the Topkapi Palace?
Yes, yes, I have.
There is a transitory place where they had eunuchs
Yes.
posted who had the liberty to go to the women's side, and जो आपने बात किया ना, because perception was they feel safe with these eunuchs. तो बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात है, छोड़ दें, ये तो लाइफ की चीज है. So you felt safe
Yeah,
with that? Okay.
oh, I felt absolutely safe with my gay friends. I'm not so safe with the straight male, but I'm very safe with my gay friends. I mean, that's the way I look at it. They will do anything to protect me. So, I mean, that's it. And
Amna,
the
what do you
other
want to
thing is,
say? Amna, you saying same thing?
Ahmed's got a heart up. No, Mary's got a heart up. Everybody's got.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the truth. They're
Even
absolutely safe to be with.
even Sana, I want to have a comment from one to two of very young, brilliant colleagues of mine. पहले तो Jhanra, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Can you
Hello,
throw?
everyone.
Hi, Jhanra.
Hi.
You have any observation to this discussion? This is the Gen Z.
Yes. exactly. I do have a really good insight from this, and I believe that
Very good insight on this.
yes, sir. Because this is called diversity, right? The different people having different mindset and a different perception, different perspective. This is called diversity, and the acceptance we do have. Uh, I guess ये चीज हमें ज्यादा हेल्पफुल रहती है to accept because everyone is different. I guess diversity is this.
Good. अच्छा ये were you saying something, Hajra?
Yeah.
Hajra, you there? You'll have to turn the mic on to be audible.
My mic is on.
All right.
All right. So, as a Gen Z, I just want to
Yes, close
say
your mic.
that instead of I
Yeah.
just want to say that instead of uh, changing, I would say that people need to accept Gen Z. Like
Gen Z
that
कहाँ
will
से आ गई?
be
We are
the
into a
main thing of diversity, equity, and inclusion, that we will feel that people are understanding us. Only then we can feel that we are included there.
No, we crossed that bridge. We agreed that people have to accept the Gen Z, and rather than accept, rather than expect that they will be changing, they aren't changing, right? That's what you're saying.
Uh, Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Okay, I was saying that people have to accept Gen Z the way they are, rather than
Yes,
expect them to change.
yes, exactly. No, not even changing themselves as well. They just need to accept it.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing I'm saying, right? Right,
Yes.
right. So,
Because can I add something here?
yeah, please
Well,
enlighten.
for me, Gen Z is just like a new computer program.
Wow.
Our brains, they are machines. They are, they are computers. We are learning, चलती फिरती we are learning machines. तो जिस तरह से world evolve हो रहा है, we were monkeys first and now we are human beings. We call ourselves human beings. Just like that, every generation has a different mindset and it will keep evolving. In next 60 years, we will cease to exist. The world belongs to them. So
Oh,
instead of just changing ourselves or themselves, just accept and move forward. Understand what Gen Z is saying, and it's a request from Gen Z as well to understand what we are saying. So our job is to find the solution together. Now, the brilliant idea lies with millennials or with Gen Z. Goal should remain the same.
so it's
That
saying
is it.
that basically it's a classical approach of reconciling and moving ahead.
We upgrade our phones. Now we are not using those dial-up
Right,
phones,
right.
right? They don't exist anymore. If we can upgrade our phones, why cannot we accept different generations that are coming up? Right now, we have Gen
I
Z.
appreciate
In a couple of
your
years,
point.
we will have Alpha and Beta.
I'm sure you are into this beautiful field, NLPK. So there is very my own concern and thoughts on the emotional side of our existence. So I believe that we have one physiological existence, we have one जो हमारा वो होता है spiritual existence, and then we have emotional existence. So हमारा जो emotional existence है, again, as you mentioned very rightly, each one of us are different from others. So each one of us, uh, don't necessarily coincide our thinkings in that, right? तो अब issue ये है कि we've got all of us here with different emotional existence, and standard ये बहुत बड़ा मेरा HR का चैलेंज है, तो आई एम वर्किंग ऑन इट मेरीन, वो ये है कि हम स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन पे बिलीव करते हैं, राइट? स्कूल से ही हम कहते हैं कि आपके एक्स नंबर से ज़्यादा हैं तो यू आर ए ग्रेड और यू आर ए प्लस और यू आर बी प्लस, राइट? So we go into the grading thing and we start defining people, their efficiency, their capability by way of certain matrix, which is not necessarily correct, which is not necessarily right. So, performance is something pathetic because every year everybody has a different target and every year different business challenges. किसी को कोई market मिलती है, किसी को कोई market मिलती है. And when you're working in different markets, किसी की market जल्दी आती है तो तेजी से हो जाता है काम, किसी की market slow जाती है. So, these variations are there in life. So you cannot just grade people. I hate ACR system because I think that is a criminal act. I find myself guilty of imposing this system in many organizations, shoving it through their throat, ACR, best, bell curve. And I think what a criminal thing I've done. Human branding. Nobody has a right to brand anybody. God has created us differently. Now the question is our having ability to understand that human differentiation and treat them accordingly. So that is where my dilemma is. Abira, you are a beautiful consultant, mashallah, brilliant, and you are dealing with everybody. And this challenge of performance appraisal, giving KPIs and all, this is so redundant to me. So redundant. And you're a consultant company, and this is what you're doing. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what I do. And now I have become, because I can afford to be at my stage in life, rebellious. I think this is all crap. We're imposing it on people. We are being inhuman. We are not even, thinking the real variation है. और वो such a fascinating creation. God has, blessed the humanity with this creation of human being. जहाँ पे, you all have, such fascinating variations. किसी भी parent के बच्चे brought up by the same parent are not same products. एक बेटी को खाना पकाना अच्छा आता है, एक को जो है she hates that, she does something else. I mean, सेम माँ बाप, सेम कल्चर. मैं बहुत वैल्यूज पे सोचा है, काम किया है कि हम समझते हैं कि हमारे जो होम वैल्यूज हैं. सना, आई नो यू हैव टू लीव सून. Thank you so much. But I mean, she had told me earlier, Sana and both, and thank you so much, Shanta, for hanging on. This is actually a very fascinating discussion. So you know what? हम किसी को भी उसके मेरिट्स पे नहीं देख सकते हैं. हमारी लिमिटेशन है, हमारा सिस्टम है, हमारा प्रोसेस है. सो हाउ डू वी डील विद पीपल with different shades, millions of shades, and how do we do matching? And some people, some in some places you're lucky, the match is there, and boom, you go. In some places, it looks good. बाद में पता चलता है कि no, it wasn't good. अब तो लकीली ज़माना वो आ गया है, शांता, हमारे यहाँ भी, that if it is not working, people don't hesitate to say goodbye. ठीक है ना? वरना पहले we were very strongly embedded under the culture of our Hindu friends from India कि इसे जन्म जन्म का साथ है. अब जन्म का मतलब ये है कि शादी हो गई है तो आप अगर जिंदा रह गए तो ठीक है, नहीं रहे तो आपको एक साथ जला देंगे. The original concept. I'm not saying it's prevalent today, but it was there. It was there even in British Raj days. ठीक है ना? So this is a concept. It's a spiritual, togetherness, and it says with that. अब ये बड़ी variations आ गई, लेकिन अब मैं ये कहता हूँ कि if you understand and recognize that people are different, if you understand and recognize that people have ability to think independently, think differently, so we need to respect that. We need to recognize and respond to that. What do you think, Kabira? परेशान हो गई?
Of course, Usmani Saab, I totally agree with your perspective. And as you have mentioned, we all are human beings, we all are different, and we need to be differently treated. We need to be respected
Yeah,
from our own. Yeah, need to be understood. We deserve this respect. It shouldn't be something that we should be asking for. It should be given to us as our own right, as our basic right. So I totally agree with your thoughts, and
Thank you.
I am all up for this.
Thank you so much. Yamsha, good to see you here. Hello, how are you? Open your mic before you want to say something. You'll have to open the mic, ma'am. Do you want to say something? Yes, no, maybe?
Hello,
Okay.
am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible, not visible, but that's okay.
Okay. Actually, I would like to quote one quote here. मुझे बहुत अच्छा quote मैंने कहीं पढ़ा था. It was like कि diversity is like कि आप किसी को पार्टी में invite करते हैं, right? And inclusion is you ask that person to dance actually. So I would like.
Diversity is two different types of people. I mean, are they different personality-wise?
No, it is for the same person you invite. Yes, it is for one person that you invite to the party, and when you ask that person to actually dance in the party, so it's called inclusion. You basically include them.
It's interesting. I'm trying to absorb because I've handled one situation in American Express and I had to fire a very senior person. So this is something that you invite that person to come to the party and the person comes to the party, right? And then you
Yes.
to the floor and the person says, no, I'm not going to the floor.
Yes.
You think accepted. Is that fair? What do you think, Mohit? Mohit?
Yes, sir.
You get to meet somebody socially. You invite the person to the party. Person obviously connects and communicates, and there is a rapport built, and the person joins you in the party. And obviously, it's a dance party, and you say, "Would you like to join me on the floor?" She said, "No."
सर अगर वो ना कह रहे हैं तो वो उनकी चॉइस है. उनको हम किसी को फोर्स तो नहीं कर सकते.
नहीं, ये तो बात सही है तुम्हारी, बिल्कुल फोर्स तो कोई नहीं कर सकते. And this is exactly what happened. There was a party in Kuala Lumpur, हमारे अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस के सेल्स की. So there was this पाकिस्तान की जो लोग गए थे उनमें this gentleman was there, and there was of course this lady who was from the sales team. So he invited the lady to come to the floor, and she said no. So पता नहीं इनको भी थोड़ा सा टिकाई हुई थी. तो ही सजेस्टेड कि जी आ जाएं, एंड शी सेड कि नहीं. तो देन ही वेंट एंड व्हाट ही डिड वाज मेरिन उसने हाथ पकड़ के कहा कि यू प्लीज कम, आई मीन लाइक थोड़ा सा पुश, एक एक उसके ज़हन में आया कि शायद इनको एक थोड़ा सा मोटिवेट करने की ज़रूरी है कि मैं हाथ पकड़ कर उनको बोलूँ कि आ जाओ. She revolted there, what is this nonsense, blah, blah, blah. And she made a report. And I was the director of HR, and the matter came to me, how should I deal? So now, Sana bataएं, how would you deal with this? This is the marketing director of a very good, doing very good sales business and everything, senior person. And this girl is from the sales team Lahore, and she was there, and she refused to go on the floor. उसने आके फिजिकली हाथ पकड़ा उसका, नॉट वेरी मतलब ड्रैग व्रैग नहीं किया, बट शी रिपोर्टेड. तो यू आर द एचआर डायरेक्टर मिस सना पीरजादा, लॉयर, बैरिस्टर. What will be your decision?
So my decision would be pretty much what Mohit has actually said, that whatever. So yes, to be included in an organization is great. As sorry, I've forgotten where the lady who actually started this topic was talking about the fact that you come to a party and that's one thing, and then being included in a dance is one thing else.
ये
But
तो यहाँ से हम समझेंगे ना.
yeah, but the point is that your own preferences and your it could be she may have refused due to a religious, obstacle or something. And I think that that needs to be respected. You can't force someone. So I'll have to endorse what Mohit said. As
Absolutely.
HR director, I would actually have to.
Now, this is
This is
where I want you, Sana, and everybody else here to think कि यहाँ से HR का काम शुरू होता है. It's not a simplistic legal analysis. How you respond to the situation determines the culture in the organization or tolerance of the culture in the organization. So that was my point. We got the regional head from Singapore. वो आके she was telling me, Susan Picarido, बिचारी, she died of air crash. What do you say, Zafar? What should we do? Is it cultural in Pakistani environment to accept it, etc., etc. So मैंने कहा, Susan, forget about Pakistani culture. We are a global bank. We have global values. And one of our values is to treat people with respect and dignity. Do we see a compromise in value here? What do you think? Holding hand and pulling someone? Yes, no, maybe? Why
I
you so much
think
in?
it's a disrespect if you are
Right,
pulling
right, right,
someone without his or her
right.
consent.
So it's not treating people with respect, right? And that is a compromise on the value of your leadership, right? So my decision was, unfortunately, much that we love that boy, we'll have to let him go. Not because of this magnitude of this issue, not because of the productivity of this man or anything, but because this one incident is going to lay ground of perception, perception of organization culture. Does this organization tolerate this behavior? ये याद रखिएगा आप लोग. मैं बड़ी कीमती बात बता रहा हूँ आप लोगों कि हाउ डू यू मैनेज इट. द बिगर पार्ट ऑफ द होल इशू इज परसेप्शन मैनेजमेंट. ठीक है.
जी
आई
सर.
थिंक मैंने मैरिन को तो बहुत परेशान कर दिए. शी सीम्स टू बी लॉस्ट नाउ. Yamcha, you got the answer? Your mic was close, so we didn't
Yes,
benefit.
sir, I got the answer. Actually, my point was to mention that we need, being an HR person, we need to create such inclusive environment, not to push or to pull someone to actually come on the dance floor and dance, but to create such inclusive environment where everyone feels to be inclusive or to be included in that particular environment or in the situation or the organization, we can say.
How do you create that? I mean, anyway, it's 6:32. Time is over, Yamcha. I'm leaving you with the thought. Case बताएं, how do you create that? It's easy to say, then do it. How do you create that environment when everybody knows that this is how it should be? Mind you, we are all full of diverse people, thought, background, cultural brought up, and everything. ठीक है?
Yes.
Kabira, does it make sense?
Of course it does. Thank
परेशानी
you.
निकाल दिया मैंने आपको. मेरे ख्याल है 2-3 लोग तो जुलाई में गए.
It was really thoughtful session, thought-provoking session, and I'm learning a lot from you and from everyone's perspective.
I
So
learned a
thank
lot.
you for having me here.
I learned a lot from everyone today. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am Ansari, would you be available for this thing? Gen Z thing?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Right. So ये जरा आपको, I don't know if you have your contact here or somewhere, I will ask some of the team members to get in touch with you. ठीक है? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. By the way, I'm not well. You must have noticed I'm at the tail end of recovery from my infection, chest infection. बड़ा बुरा था हुआ था मुझे, bacterial, and it's now wearing off. But I didn't want to change the date of this session. It was a pleasure being with all of you. लॉन्ग टाइम के बाद मैंने नबीरा को देखा है, एंड amazing. Sometimes you see is uh, time doesn't do anything.
Same here, Guruji. It was lovely, meeting with you and rest of the panelists and the participants. So thank you, everyone.
You ever come to
And
Karachi, Nabila?
Gee, I do come, and whenever I'll be there, I'll ping you. Inshallah, we'll meet.
Yeah, do just give me a ring, and मैं
Of
आपको
course.
बोट क्लब के लॉबस्टर्स ट्रीट करूंगा.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
everybody. By the way, that offer is for everyone. ठीक है, Mary? You can also enjoy that lobster anytime.